doing my hair. I am not. Miracles. We want to talk about miracles today. Miracles are something that is very foundational in mine and Natasha's life, something that we have both experienced on multiple occasions. And today we just want to give you a couple of quick stories about those encounters. When I was born, as my mom was giving birth to me, when I had come out, the doctors noticed that there was something wrong, okay? And what was wrong was my arm was limp. Like literally you would like lift it up and it would literally just like fall back down or whatever. And they had no idea why, what was going on. And so my parents were quite concerned. And when they had heard that, well, they thought, okay, well, best thing that we can do is we can pray. So that's what they decided to do. They decided to pray for me, and they were just, thank you, Jesus, or whatever, that for his healing, etc. And suddenly my arm started working.
Yeah.
It's been great ever since. I've never had any issues with my arm, and it was.
Show me your arms.
It was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's totally fine now,
Yeah.
and now I'm able to impress all the lady or whatever, and
the doctors didn't know how that happened.
Yeah.
They couldn't explain it.
The best thing they could say was it was a miracle, right?
Yeah.
That my arm was working and stuff. So yeah, that was my first experience with a miracle.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So there was this one time where Mom and I, we were actually at our lowest point financially, and we were waiting for on a loan to start a business. And unfortunately, for some reason, we had put our resumes out everywhere, and we were just unable to find any job. Nothing was working. It was kind of like God just brought us to a place where he was just, you're gonna trust in me and me alone for everything, for the next meal, for every little bit. We finally got a call from the bank after waiting for months. And the bank is quite a distance away from where we were living. We did have a car. We never used to use the car because we used to save the fuel in the car just in case we would get these kind of important calls for where we have to go. So we did have fuel in the car to go and come back. We were so excited, got ready. We came downstairs and we looked at the car tire being punctured. Yeah. The car tire was flat. Oh. And our heart just sank, and we didn't have money to go by cab, for an auto, none of that. Nevertheless, we just prayed, and we called the mechanic guy who was next to our house, and we asked him to come. He looked at the tire. He said, it is punctured. You're going to have to fix the tire, which is going to cost a bit of money, which we didn't have. So he brought one of the cycle pumps, and he kind of like pumped the tire with the cycle pump, and he said this will take you till the shop for you to fix it. Yeah. So we said, okay, great. Can we have the cycle pump? When we come back, we'll give you a call, or we come drop it off. Yeah. So he gave us a cycle pump. We drove just, in faith, just started driving towards the place, saying that, God, you're going to keep this tire like working for us to get there and get back. You know, the enemy was trying his best to like stop us from getting to our miracle. On the way there, halfway there, we stopped at the signal, and then this guy tapped on the window, and he was like, puncture, flat tire, and Mom and I were like, no. Yeah. So anyway, we passed the signal, we pulled up to the corner, we got out of the car. It was so frustrating too, but we were like, you know what, we're not gonna let this bring us down. I got out of the car, and then all of a sudden this really old man, tiny old man was on a little bicycle with his toolbox behind him, and we didn't realize that was a toolbox at the time. Yeah. But he was cycling past us, and in Hindi he was singing "Puncture ho gaya," which means, oh, you guys have a puncture. And he was singing this and going past us, and I just looked at him and I was like, thanks for the reminder. Yeah. He came back, and then he looked at me and he said, can I have a look? So I was like, okay, go for it. Believe it or not, he was a man who had all the tools to fix a puncture on his bicycle. And he was just like, this was on a main road, just randomly he passed by us. Yeah. And he came and he fixed that car tire, and he didn't even take any money for it. He just like did it for free.
Yeah.
He fixed the tire, and we were on our way. We got to the bank, we finished all our work, and we used that tire for months.
Yeah.
And that was just, you know, God sending an angel in the form of a person, the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
And to us, that was yet another miracle that we've experienced.
So another miracle that I experienced in my life, it wasn't me personally that experienced this miracle, but it was a miracle that I witnessed. And it was this youth conference. And when we were at this youth conference, they had like, you know how at like a conference, they'll have like certain youth that like come up on stage, and you kind of get to know like kind of like these youth leaders or whatever that like everybody's going to know. And there's probably like 200, 300 people at this conference, right? And one of these leaders was this girl in this wheelchair. I remember like, you know, we had seen her quite a few times throughout the days and stuff, and she had made herself known to everybody and had talked, very nice girl. I remember this one night or whatever, we were praising and worshiping God and stuff, and they were proclaiming healing over everybody, right? So then of course you'd have one person go, oh, this got healed, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this got healed, right? But then of course they were all healings that you can't see it for yourself, right? Or whatever. But then suddenly he looks back, the pastor, and he goes, what's her face is out of her chair?
Yeah.
And then we all look back to the back of the stadium, and this girl is walking up towards the front.
Wow, that's awesome.
And she just has her hand over her mouth like, oh my gosh, right? And what was so cool is the night before she was in this play, and she had done the whole play in the wheelchair.
Oh my god.
And then the next night she had to do the play again, but the next night she was able to do the play standing up. People in her life knew her to be in her wheelchair the whole time, and now they see her standing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It gave me goosebumps. So another miracle that I have witnessed is with my mom. She used to suffer with dry eyes. Really bad dry eye syndrome, and her eyes used to matter, and you know, like they used to get really dry where she couldn't see, you know, clearly for days and things like that. And the doctors really said that there's nothing more we could do for you except if you want to have surgery, but we can't tell if surgery is even going to help. She struggled with that for years. And I remember we had another conference. This was Benny Hinn. I don't know if you know Benny Hinn.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was Benny Hinn had come down, and we had gone for his conference. I remember we were all standing, and there's a praise and worship was happening. So we were just praising God. You know, like he started saying that, you know, as you're praising and worshiping God, healings are happening right now to those who want to believe, and to those who want to receive it, right? So she had her hands up in the air, and she just like, she had that determination that day. She was like, enough is enough of this. I am receiving this miracle, and this, like, today is my day of healing, right? So we finished the conference and we went back home, and she had to go through this whole procedure of, you know, dealing with her eyes with eye drops and things like that before she went to bed. And then the next morning she would wake up with struggles with her eyes and a lot of matter and stuff like that. But then she went through the whole day the next day, and it didn't even strike her, but she didn't have anything like causing trouble to her eyes. And then the next day she looked at me and she's like, I think my eyes are healed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and she, you know, she looked in the mirror and her eyes were completely healed. She never had, she stopped, the matter in her eyes stopped. And the dryness in her eyes went away. There was like liquid was brought back to her eyes, you know, and she was completely healed, and she still is healed from that. She's never had dry eyes ever again since that day. Yeah.
Oh, praise
Which is
God.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. So these are some miracles that Natasha and I have witnessed or experienced personally in our lives. And we just want to know if you guys have experienced anything in your guys' life, whether you've witnessed it and it's something you can't explain, or if it's something that you've experienced yourself and that only you know, that it's like, I know for sure that I was done and then suddenly I'm not, or whatever, right? And so we'd love you guys to tell us those stories down in the comments, please. And we'd love to read that. Definitely. Yeah. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day. God bless. We love you. And we'll check you later.
Bye.